Today may be April Fool's, but this is no joke. Hello! Yes, the title is correct. Today we are discussing why Sans from Undertale is so hot. Now, for people unaware, in 2022 there was a Tumblr Sexy Man contest. And after multiple rounds, Sans ended up being the winner, and these results were so shocking that the Queen of England died. But I'm here today to tell you that these results are not surprising at all. Sans from Undertale is genuinely the most attractive video game character of all time. If you agree with me, I end up changing your mind, or you just want to hear any other crazy things I've got to say, hit that subscribe button, and if you don't, you're gonna have a bad time. But before anything else, what even is a Tumblr Sexy Man? A Tumblr Sexy Man is characterized as somebody with otherwise unconventional features, say like Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls or Wheatley from Portal 2, and the fandom, because they have this dark yet sarcastic, intelligent nature, decide to transform them into a hot guy, usually some skinny white man. And when Undertale came out in 2015, it took the world by storm. Status quo breaking storyline and game mechanics that forever changed the indie game sphere, witty dialogue, progressive identities and dynamics between characters, and a smoking hot skeleton with a fit straight from Adam Sandler's closet. But what's this punny font fanatic got that makes everybody want to bone him? Pun intended. Our first meeting of Sans is after encountering an oddly menacing flower in our Dear Goat Mom tutorial. As we have to get past the door that enters to the rest of the underground, we have to either fight or spare tutorial. Once getting through the door and you're walking in these snowy woods, you realize something's following you. When reaching a small bridge, a deep tone echoes throughout the entire device that you're playing on. Turn around and shake my hand. As you turn around to encounter this new shadowy figure, you reach out your hand, a whoopee cushion goes off. Immediately into a lighter tone, Sans introduces himself to the player. Now, Sans is almost like your guide in Snowden, informing you of his brother who desires to join the Royal Guard, and to prove himself, he has created multiple puzzles throughout the map to catch a human. You. When progressing further, you find a conveniently shaped lamp to hide behind, and the brothers comedically bicker, showing Sans's witty and cunning nature with each and every line. He even winks at the screen, breaking the fourth wall. This sly skeleton continues his brotherly teasing through each puzzle you get through, indicating although he's much smarter than his brother, he has no real desire to catch you for some unknown reason that we'll explain later. All he truly cares about is making sure that his brother is safe and happy. Whew, a smart man with loyalty to the ones he loves? Throw me a bone. Although you end up getting a date with Papyrus due to your impeccable flirting abilities, Sans does not have a specific one-on-one date, but we do have some individual interactions with him later on. As you get through the snowy biome of the underground after facing Papyrus, Sans ends up showing up and asking if you would like to take a shortcut with him to his favorite pub, Grillby's. When speaking with him, he shows off his nonchalant yet protective nature over his brother, and he shows off how extremely aware of your actions he is. He ends up asking if you find Papyrus cool and gives you a little bit of a background onto how he became a sentry. And when asking if you would like some ketchup for your food, the outcome depends based on your answer. If you say no, he ends up drinking the entire bottle, but if you say yes and you try to put it on your burger, it ends up spilling everywhere. Sans, being the goofy gentleman that he is, allows you to take his plate instead despite his clever antics. Although suddenly, the room goes completely silent, as if it's just the two of you there. His usual shiny, light-hearted eyes go completely stone cold as he explains to you that a tiny flower has been following his brother and telling him things. He shakes the feeling off and explains that it must just be an echo flower, a plant we find later on in the game that it repeats whatever the last thing it heard said. We as the player have a sneaking suspicion that the petal-covered menace from earlier seems to be interfering behind the scenes more than we originally knew. As Sans leaves the venue, he asks if you would cover the exorbitant food fee, only to laugh and say that it's just a joke and that Grillby should go ahead and just put it on his tab. How I hate to see him go, but I love to watch him leave. Sans, with his mysterious abilities and silly one-liners, will randomly appear in different stations across the entire underground, including Hotland, a lava-filled zone where he stacks a ridiculous amount of hot dogs on your head. The next alone time we get with him ends up being a dinner reservation at Metaton's hotel. Here he explains the reasoning is why he doesn't kill you. We find out that he's been practicing knock-knock jokes on the door to the ruins, only for one day, Toriel responds back. each and every day as he keeps coming back, both exchanging silly puns to each other, until one day, in a somber tone, she asks him if he would protect any human that comes into the underground. Sans, believing that anybody that loves horrible knock-knock jokes is somebody trustworthy, obliges. But yet again with those dark eyes, he tells us that if Toriel never made him promise that, we would be dead where we stand. But I mean, it's just Sans, he's just messing with us again. Right? Sans, in every route, acts as your final judgment before you face Asgore. But in the genocide route, instead of letting you pass, you are faced with the most difficult fight of the game. He apologizes to Toriel for breaking his promise, and the battle begins. The birds are singing, the flowers are blooming, and on days like this, kids like you should be burning in hell. Sans is special as he is the only monster seen to actually physically dodge your attacks. And each and every time you die, as trust me, it will be a lot, he breaks the fourth wall again and comments on how many times you've died. Later on in the fight, he gives you a false sense of security by giving you the option to spare him. If you try to, he covers the entire screen in bones until you die and tells you that if you are truly a friend, you would stop now and reset the game. He shows how truly knowledgeable of the game he is, even surpassing our flowery foe. As when it's his turn for his special attack, he ends up doing absolutely nothing, which means that you are unable to have your turn, and the battle stops. Only for him to slowly fall asleep, and you have to creep your way down to the fight button. You think the battle is over and you have caught him off guard, but he dodges once again. Except this time, you have a second attack, which hits him and fatally kills him. He surprisingly starts to leak some kind of red fluid, and he ends up laughing it off and getting up, slowly trudging away as he says that he's going to Groby's, only to then, while off screen, ask Papyrus if he wants anything, and fade into dust. From beginning to end, he is a smart and loyal monster, only wanting the world to be peaceful and punny, but he will annihilate if or when necessary. Now, during neutral ending, Sans is the one being tasked to call you from the underground. The purpose for the phone call is to give you an update how the underground is doing after you left. These updates end up varying based on which monsters you had killed. But more importantly, if you had ended up killing Papyrus, he will tell you that you are no longer welcome to come back. Meanwhile, in the true pacifist ending, Sans is seen using a shortcut once again, but this time on the overworld, and Papyrus ends up chasing after him. And then later on in the credits, we see him riding a bike alongside Papyrus, who is in a convertible that mimics his race car bed in the underworld. He once again gives a flirty little wink to the camera, and that is the last we see of him in the game. He does cameo in Deltarune, but he's not a huge part of the plot just yet. I don't know if he ever will be, but this is just a quick mention as yes, I know he's in Deltarune. After Undertale took the world by storm and every single YouTuber ever had played it, Sans' comedic nature was easily picked up, and the entire online community ended up praising him as a meme god. On the cuter side, there were comics that showed his little funny hijinks and the horrible jokes he would make. And then on the other side, there were people that were dressing up as him, people blasting Megalovania everywhere, videos like Undertale was realistic or Underpants by Senior Pello, the iconic Sans' Ness and Sans' Steven Universe with cancer memes. When the game was first released, Sans was very on theme with the dank meme humor. Even his name being a reference to the font Comic Sans that a lot of people just hated for some reason, so it turned into a meme language. Even though, fun fact, it's actually an extremely accessible font for people with dyslexia. Sans was, in a way, a projection of the average person online, or somebody that they could almost fantasize over being as cool as. Alongside this fame was a plethora of fan art, fan fiction, and even alternate universes that the fandom had made to further extend the story, even before Deltarune was even announced. Sans was usually depicted in one of two ways. A lazy and chill skeleton that somehow looked on the rounder side, even though he was all bones, or a ruthless, glowing figure in a dynamic pose ready to mess you up. Since Sans has a blue glowing eye whenever he uses his powers, fans that were thirsty for him ended up using that knowledge to make his tongue blue for some reason, and they even made his lightsaber a glowing blue when it came to that kind of fan art or fan fiction. Something I should also mention is that for people that for some reason just didn't want to draw him as a skeleton, oftentimes made him just this skinny, tall, white-haired anime boy with glowing blue eyes. Basically like the embodiment of the Tumblr sexy man era, as we mentioned earlier. Hey, this is Editor Zoe. I just watched the most recent episode of Solo Leveling whenever I was recording this, and bro, he is literally Sans. Although in the game he had a charming yet nonchalant attitude as he was protective of his brother and was loyal to Toriel's words, the community ended up characterizing him as almost a bad boy of sorts. With pranks and puns galore, a sad backstory, him being overprotective of his brother, his fourth wall-breaking ability to somehow always fit in every single scenario he's in. Like, he's just so funny that he could be in Elden Ring and everybody would just think it's the funniest thing of all time. Any and every possible fanfiction and alternate universe were made with these characteristics being the core of this Casanova. We have Underfell, a darker version of the game meant to portray a more aggressive and dominant side. Underswap meant to switch the characters' personalities, so Sans ended up being the energetic and goofy one. The community for this alternate universe ended up naming him Blueberry, I'm pretty sure. Gaster Sans, who showed up in multiple AUs, meant to be like a mix of Sans and the mysterious character Gaster, and he's supposed to be dating an aged up version of Frisk, which, side note, I think the fact that a lot of these alternate universes have an aged up version of Frisk as the love interest is really weird to me. That should not be happening because, for one, Frisk is a child, but it seems like a lot of the time, since Frisk was this blank slate character that they could make them however way they wanted to, and they just kind of used them as a placeholder for the person viewing or interacting with the content, I don't know. I still think it's gross though. I have Air Sans and Ink Sans, both of which are supposed to be kind of like this last person alive from their universe thing, and they break reality's rules in one way or another. There are millions of other AUs and different kinds of Sans. I cannot fit all of them in one video. These were the ones I remember being the most popular. Oh yeah, YOLO Sans, the one that basically was just a rip-off of Dippy Fresh from Gravity Falls. Each version of Sans has their own charms while still having the iconic pun style of the original in varying levels, which gives every single creator and reader/viewer the ability to pick the Sans of their choosing to fawn over. Now, as an intermission of sorts before the final closing statements that explain why I think Sans is so hot, I'm going to be reading a chapter or two of the most popular Wattpad story for Sans X Reader. So I hope this gives you some insight of the usual perspective for these Sans fangirls. So this looks like the most popular one that I can find, which has 951,000 reads. So let's go through the description. Sans has lived through countless timelines. He's seen the kid make friends with everyone, only to give up in the final moments. He's seen the kid killed over and over and over again. Sometimes he'd even done the killing himself, and no one ever remembers, not even the kid herself. It's an exhausting cycle, one that never seems to end. But there's something different about this run. Another human's fallen down, the kid's sister. Note that the story is primarily on Quotev, so updates to Wattpad may be late or lag behind that of Quotev. The story also has the potential to become mature. I haven't decided yet. So it looks like this started in 2016, and in 2017 there was a sequel. I'm not reading the sequel. Let's just get into it. I'm going to pick a random chapter. Okay, so for this one, I think we're going to go for an unending cycle, because apparently that's the one where we meet Sans. Alright, so this chapter is supposed to be from Sans' perspective, so let's get into it. Just give up, I think. Would it really be so sad, letting Kara destroy this world? After reliving the same 2 days for a period of nearly a year, a world of empty nothingness is starting to sound pretty good. And if she doesn't, maybe I should just... Downstairs, a door slams open. Paps can't see me like this, I think, furiously wiping at my eye sockets. It doesn't do any good. I'm just getting my hands wet. Sans? Listen, I have horrible accents, but I like doing voices, so just bear with me, please. Papyrus calls. The human and I are home. They can't see me like this, I repeat, my inner voice growing more frantic. And we brought a friend. I use my magic to lock the door, moments before Papyrus goes to open it. Sans, is everything okay in there? Oh, this is bad. Paps had the suspicion for a while now that something's wrong. Locking my door wasn't a very smart move. Everything's fine, bro. I call, a false cheerfulness to my voice. I'm just, cleaning. Cleaning? Paps asks suspiciously. Yeah, cleaning. You're always telling me how messy it is in here, and I trail off. It's never been easy to lie to him. Brother? Papyrus's voice drops slightly in volume, so that he's almost speaking at a normal level. In other words, he's serious. Yeah, Paps? I ask quietly. Are you really okay? You've been acting kind of off the last few days, and well, he says, it has me worried. He's seen right through me. I'm fine, Paps, I say, my happy facade falling away. I just need some time to myself, okay? That's all. Paps, maybe it would be better if you came out here for a while. I brought someone here to see you. Maybe meeting them would cheer you up? Just a little bit? I just realized what I look like and what I'm doing. I'll have that crisis later. Let's just keep going. I don't answer, instead of curling up and facing away from my door. Paps's innocent kindness is only making me feel worse. After a long stretch of silence, he eventually gives up. Well, if you change your mind, we'll be outside, I guess, he says, a note of hurt to his voice. The humans and I are going to make snow monsters. Wait, did he just say? No, I must have misheard him. There's only one human in the underground. A quiet voice says something to Papyrus, but the door muffles it too much for me to make out what was said. Well, okay then, YN. I suppose there's no harm in trying, Pap sighs. We'll be waiting for you outside. Steps slowly retreat down the stairs, and the front door clicks softly as Papyrus closes it behind him. A part of me wishes that he stayed. I sigh, trying to think of something. Anything to take my mind off the pain that's plaguing my soul. Of course, I go to the old standby. What does a skeleton order at a restaurant? I ask myself numbly. Spare. A voice starts. The voice startles me enough that my magic forces itself on, a dim blue light illuminating the space around me. I wish it didn't. It's not exactly a pleasant sight, what with all the clutter and dirty clothes. I slowly turn towards the door, thinking that I might just be hearing things. I wouldn't exactly be surprised. Who knows how many resets a person can live through before they start to go crazy? But no, there's definitely someone there. Maybe this was a bad idea, they muttered to themselves. There was a few seconds of silence, but then they sigh and try again. You're Sans, right? The voice asks. Papyrus's brother? I don't say anything. Unlike with Papyrus, though, that's not entirely intentional. There's just something about the speaker's voice that's so, well, mesmerizing. It's definitely a girl's voice, and it's so beautiful and melodic. Melodic? I'm sorry if this is a bad realization time, but I've never heard this word said in real life. You can't help but stop and listen. She's barely even said anything, and yet I'm completely captivated. The girl sighs again, taking my silence as some kind of rejection. However, she apparently decides to continue, whether I'm listening or not. Well, I just wanted to thank you, she says. From what I understand, you really helped my sister out after she fell down here. What? I ask myself. I'm not sure I completely understand what's going on here. So, thanks for that. For being there when I couldn't be. The girl seems to wait for a reply. I'm too shocked to give her one. Well, that's it, I guess, she says quietly. She goes silent again, but she doesn't leave. Do you need someone to talk to? She asks suddenly. I know we barely know each other, but... I stare at the door, dumbfounded. The girl, apparently realizing how awkward this is, sighs and backtracks a little bit. My sister always says that I have this uncanny ability to tell how other people are feeling. She says, apologetically, as if trying to explain herself. Actually, she says it's kind of creepy how well I understand other people. She pauses for a moment, trying to gather her thoughts. You're obviously going through some tough times right now, she says slowly, and you probably feel as if you can't tell anyone about it, especially not your brother, right? Because you're trying to protect him. I sit up. This girl's definitely got my attention. If that's the case, then I know how you feel. There are some things that I can never tell Frisk, no matter how much it hurts me to keep quiet. But that's besides the point. I just wanted to let you know that holding yourself up in your room isn't going to make your problems, whatever they may be, go away. If anything, it's making your brother really worry about you, she says. My sister, too. She really looks up to you, you know. I slowly get up, my bones groaning in protest. You can trust me on that last point. On our way over here, she practically talked about you nonstop, the girl says, managing a laugh. A laugh shouldn't be anything special. Paps does it all the time, but for some unknown reason, this mysterious girl's laugh drives me to take a step towards my door. But in any case, I think it would make them both feel a little better if you hung out with them for a while, she continues. If you ever do need someone to talk to, well, you can come to me, the random stranger who hasn't even introduced herself yet. Well, at least she has a sense of humor. I'm YN, she says. I'm Frisk's sister, though judging from Papyrus, probably makes more sense to you if I didn't introduce myself as the human sister, she says, laughing again. I still can't believe that Frisk never told anyone her name. My hand suspended just inches from the door handle. That can't be possible. Never. In any of the hundreds of timelines I've been forced to live through has the kid's sister ever fallen down. That's all I wanted to say. If you're feeling up to it, you should come outside. Then we can meet face to face instead of on opposite sides of a door. I barely register her last words. My mind is running a mile a minute, trying to comprehend what the heck is going on. The kid's sister fell down, I think, and the kid hasn't reset since. I remain completely still, trying to digest that piece of information. If she was the reason the kid was so desperate to get back to the surface, and she's here now, possibly to stay, then that would mean... Despite my attempts to hold it back, I can feel my hopes soar. Wait, I exclaim, busting through the door. Are you really... There's no one there. She's already left. I was going to read a more adult fanfiction, but then I realized that I do not want a recording of that online. But now that you've seen a glimpse into the sensational world of skeletal seduction, let me explain why all of this makes him so hot. His loyalty and protectiveness for his brother and the other people he cares about, alongside intelligent wordplay and a relaxed aura, provide a sense of security for a potential partner. These attributes are very desirable, especially given the fact that since he is a simple skeleton with a pixel design and the numerous AUs to choose from, people can kind of project their own ideals onto him, even making a human version in their minds with the appearance they want, as long as it basically just includes a blue hoodie. I spoke about this kind of thing in my video about mask talk, but essentially there are a lot of people that look for characters or accounts with a covered face, usually with a mask, as it means they can be attracted to the mannerisms and the attitude and fantasize about them without feeling guilt or consequences of interacting with a human being in the same way. Some people also find non-human characters attractive for the reason of possibly having issues with romancing other people, or for most, enjoy the power of a strong, edgy-looking monster taking control, or taking control of that monster themselves to feel powerful. Pure range that Sans can be portrayed from means that anyone and everyone in the online sphere can find their fix of Sans. With all of this in mind, I hope you can now understand and join in knowing that Sans is the hottest video game character of all time. Thank you for watching, and comment down below how you felt about this video or any of your favorite Undertale AUs. And while you're down there, hit that like button to give me that sweet, sweet dopamine to continue making these crazy videos. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go climb a mountain, fall into it, and find my skeleton husband. See ya!